All right, we're joined by Vincent. Now, Vincent is an amazing artist. He does music that really confuses me because it's got a lot of brands in it. There's like Afro pop and R&B, and it's mixed Zambian version as well. So sometimes I get to be confused, like, okay, which genre of music is this? But we're so privileged to have you. Happy New Year to you as well. I mean, I know it's been a long time since we last saw each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully today, amazing. Eventually, you're here, man.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Happy New Year to you too.
Wow.
And you?
No, happy Valentine to her.
Of course, yeah. Not
please,
to you.
Please tell her. So that
a rose, yeah. That is, yeah. No, I didn't know we had a female on set. So
please, I'll be waiting for the belated part of it. I'll blame it on him.
Right. No, thanks for having me.
Yeah. To just maybe get to know you a little bit better, I would want to find out what time do you wake up with?
What time do I wake up? I don't have a pattern, a structure for my life because I'm an entrepreneur. So things get thrown at me left, right, and center. I told you a lot earlier today to say, oh, my day started extremely earlier than I thought, and then I ended up getting into my program for the afternoon. I'm just like hoping I won't be late for my interview. But yeah, it could be anything because I sleep at any time. I sleep at 3 sometimes. I sleep at like midnight. It could be anything. So
wow, it's the kind of person that just makes sure the job is done.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Your favorite, maybe, if I may put you on spot right now. Like, if you had to use just one word throughout your life, which one would it be?
Love.
You see?
Yeah. Explain the introduction, I'm asking.
No, I'm just saying, like, what other word can counter that?
I mean, Zanji.
No, it's like, that's so narrow. The world is so big. The love, it counters any barrier, any landmark, any nothing,
And that's that
pulls through anything.
Yeah, amazing. And that's type that really sets your kind of music, speaking to people across all boards.
True.
Let's get to the interview now, to just stick the ball rolling right here. Who is Vincent?
Vincent Claudius is a singer-songwriter, Zambian by birth. I'm a multi-venture entrepreneur, so I do a bunch of things entrepreneurial related. I'm in a family of 3, not married. Need I say?
Right words, love, not married, and a female on set.
He's trying to set me up here, okay?
Please go on.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, in a nutshell, that's what I would say about myself. Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of a singer are you? What kind of a singer would you classify yourself?
So like he said, I do pretty much anything. So because I'm inspired by music, really, more than anything. So you throw me a R&B instrumental, I'll jump on it. But mostly the base of everything that I do is R&B because that's where it all started. Yeah, I was inspired by the likes of Boyz II Men and Babyface and Joe, Joe Chibangu, Joe Thomas.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm an old soul also.
So that vintage kind of
soul. Yeah, I'm old, yeah. Maybe not my age, but I am old.
Oh. The emphasis.
I'm just saying, I'm not that old,
Please, very important.
Set the record straight.
Yeah, set the record straight. All right, beautiful. Also, Vincent, now I've noticed that the time I started following you.
Yeah.
You seem to transition with your name, with Vincent and Vinboy.
Yeah, that's true. It kind of affected the brand in the beginning, but people catching on gradually, till now people still want to call me Vinny Boy. I'm like, no, I got a beard now. I put some respect on my beard and my age.
That actually reminds me.
Should I pull out my NRC?
Boy and you're all boys, like the boy.
And for me, I didn't know any boy at the time because everybody was like Lil something. That was like the cool thing at the time. I was the only Vinny. I was the only artist who had like a name boy that I knew. Later on, I realized we have Burner Boy and Joe Boy. I'm like, oh, thank God I dropped the name.
You know what?
But maybe I should have kept it.
They grammarized it, I think so. They grammarized it to a point that the boy started having a U there. Like
boy.
So when you transition, you're 30, 35, you're a boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
With the Jamaican twang. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. You know what? Again, before we even start talking about your music and where you draw your inspiration from, you've spoken of you being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's something that you also venture into massively.
Definitely.
When you're doing entrepreneurship, obviously, which one is really where you best specifically?
Okay, so I own a branding and digital marketing business. I've run a couple of printing shops, but right now I'm more freelance than anything. So we don't have a specific location for the branding and digital marketing, but I own a saloon. It's in McKinney. Yeah, and I recently just
something for me. Maybe I could.
yeah, you should come. Yeah, come do your hair there. So I got excited when I saw your hair. I'm like, client. Yeah, but I'm a multi-venture entrepreneur, like I said earlier. So I also just kind of invest wherever I see opportunities. Yeah.
You know, one thing that shocks me about you, like you said, you're a vintage boy.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah, old school. And I've seen you with entrepreneurship. I deliberately asked that because I've been following you again.
Yes.
And on your recent socials, there's something you said about money not being a big deal.
Yeah.
Not being a big factor. Yeah. So now I'm wondering, okay, you're motivated, but then money is not a big thing to you.
Yeah, okay, so what I was trying to say there, context from the conversation, it was what inspires young artists who are not doing so well, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're really motivated and really truly inspired, you can't stop. You know, because it's bigger than money. That's what that came from.
Yeah. But what really makes somebody to venture into music? Is it the love? Obviously, it's money and such. But then, where do you start when you don't have money or you have it?
I think this is also what I'm trying to say anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than the resources that you get from it. You know, because it feeds your soul. It's spiritual. You know, it heals you sometimes. You know. And it moves the people around you. So all these things, and you put them together, like, and you weigh the two options. Am I just going to get a monetary return, or I'm going to gain, you know, a spiritual connection with God through music? Because there's people who worship only through music. You know, there's people who don't get the chance to sit down at church and you know, listen to pastors. We just basically just connect through music. I'm one of those people who I can't wait for a segment of church where it's time to praise and worship and, you know, just get into the music, because I feel more connected to God that way.
Yeah, because for me, typically, when the music part is done, I'm leaving church.
Right.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I see.
Amazing, yeah.
Okay, so what has been the best part of your performance, like the best part of your performance in your whole career?
2016, I had the first major event that I ever had. I was with Cristobal Entertainment at the time. Cristobal with Mike Berner and the team, yeah. So, yeah. Just before that, I had a performance the same year, 2016, and I was so disappointed in myself. I had to make sure I had to make a comeback. I was still Vinny Boy at the time. So my manager's like, oh, I believe in you. You're going to get this Rico at the time. Yeah, my Cristobal CEO. Yeah, so he's like, I believe in you. You're going to get this. I hardly believe in myself at the time. And then we get to the venue, and guess how many people are there? 2,500 people.
Wow.
I'm like, how am I going to pull this off? You know, it's like the last event was like 100 people, and I was like, jittery, like I couldn't get myself together. But yeah, so somebody gave me shades, glasses, right? Gave me shades, and I promise you, I ran onto the stage. It's like the nerves just gave me a different kind of courage.
Speaking of shades, I was actually with this musician, Kalu Vibes. So, you know, I was actually asking him to say, lately, like, what's with the whole shades? Like, what's the notion behind the shades, you know? I was actually asking him, because I've been seeing constantly them wearing the shades, and also you highlighted it, and it came to my mind.
It came to mind, yeah. I feel like it adds to your confidence and your character, because when you dress a certain way, there's a time I used to go to a dance studio, Jive studio at the time. That's in somewhere in what is that? Lusaka Playhouse. Yeah, Lusaka Playhouse at the studio called Jive. And my dance instructor told me, did you know that there's sometimes when you dress a certain way and you won't dance so well, you know, but when you dress a way that makes you feel confident, you're gonna dance like 10 times better, you know. So I don't know. Somebody gave me those shades, and I ran onto the stage, and I started singing a cappella. It was not part of the set. You know, I started singing a cappella. And everybody saying, yeah. And they responded. They just, it gave me so much motivation, you know. And I just like, oh, you can spin the record now. I told the DJ, you can spin the record now. And we took it off. It was crazy. And they showed that performance on TV. I got excited.
So fast forward from 2016 to now, up to today, this day. You changed, obviously, the transition, and typically you've been doing a lot of acapellas.
Yeah, true.
Is that where you draw inspiration from to start with?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm inspired by music itself, you know, and some of the earliest music I listened to was like boy bands like Boys to Men, who did a lot of a cappella. So definitely a cappella is one of the things that kind of molded me into the kind of artist I've become today. Yeah.
Let's speak about your current single.
Okay.
The one that you have, the one that
Yeah.
you recently premiered. Beautiful song, congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I love
you.
the fact that it came out at the right time.
Yeah, finally. You know,
Finally.
I'd been hoping, I think you saw my post.
Yeah.
Where I said, I've been wanting to drop a song on Valentine's or pre-Valentine's,
Yeah.
you know? And I've never had the chance to really just get it on time. It's like, we're going to be a month late, or, you know, we just end up giving up because we're late anyway. So, but yeah, finally we got a love song on time for the love season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what typically goes through your mind when you're writing your music? Obviously, there are songs already on board before you release yours, and is the hope always to be how are you going to fit in that industry, in that space when there are a lot of songs out there, or do you just let me put out music because this is why I believe in let the soul my soul speak to people out there and they let them vibe to my tune as well.
True. It's a little bit of both. So it just depends on the record. Because you've got to stay current. It's imperative. You can't be sounding like you're in the 70s, you know? I mean, it's music anyway.
We're trained.
Right, yeah. You've got to stay current because the hugest demographic that listens to music is a younger demographic. And so if you really want to stay current and heard, you know, and listened to, what you want to do is, you know, listen and tap into what's going on in the world out there, on radio, in different markets and different places in the world. But also, I feel like because I'm pouring my heart into the art, it's only right that I have to speak what's on my heart, you know, and what's on my mind. So yeah, it's a little bit of both. It kind of just balance it out. But for the most part, I'm inspired by music itself.
Itself. For the love of music.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't speak about your family obviously allowing you into music.
Oh yeah. I've been privileged. This studio actually brings me memories because I took part in Kid Star. Yeah.
Wow, that's like should be a decade ago.
Yeah, but more than that.
More than that.
More than that. Yeah, like 2008.
Oh.
If I'm not wrong. Yeah. Yeah, because my parents have just always been there. I remember even prior Kid Star, long before that, because I started going to the studio when I was extremely young. I was like, I don't know, like second grade, you know, I was like 7 years old, 6 years old, I can't even remember, you know, at this time. But yeah, they've been very supportive. They're the rare breed that takes their children to the studio that I've never heard of out here, you know. But yeah, and so something I'm extremely grateful for. Even just my siblings, they're always cheering me on and sharing my stuff. And in there's times when I'm not as motivated myself, you know. So it's just like, they repost your stuff and you just like look at it and I'm like, I've got something for them to not stop, you know, even after. Because there's been times with the entrepreneurial life where I can't help but just like, you know, take a back sit. And, you know, focus more on what's bringing in the money for real, you know. Yeah, so, yeah, just like to refocus when I look at what my family is doing for me is just something that I'm truly grateful for.
All things.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you ever had time in your whole career when you thought of quitting, like music altogether?
Yeah, not necessarily consciously thought about it, but subconsciously it crosses my mind. It crossed my mind rather several times in the past. As I grow older, I realize you really just can't run away from your cause. You know, it's like, you run away. You listen to something along the way. You're starting to create a song in the head. You know, but yeah, there's been times when I felt a bit depressed because it's really not going my way. And that's why I keep on echoing the fact that I'm inspired by music now, because like, that's a new energy now, because it doesn't matter where, what happens, you know, and where I'm at in my life. It just, I can't help it, but just go back in the studio, create and share. Because now it's like, you did it for, I mean, I have done it for my passion, but also it just, as you grow older, things get into perspective. You see people die and you can't help but, realize you don't have all the time in the world. You know, you really got to fulfill your purpose.
Again, maybe this is just me, but I feel like what the kind of management we have in Zambia does not really fit into your music. I don't know if you noticed that. I'm not throwing shades at anybody, but I've noticed that. Yeah. The kind of, are we allowed to mention names? No, really. Cool.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
We're on TV, don't do that.
Yeah, I've seen like the management out there and the kind of formats they follow, just even the target of audience they have. It's pretty much different from...
It's very different.
Yeah, from your music.
Yeah, and that's why I keep on saying it. Like, I'm inspired by music, and so I don't really care what's going on, what's conventional, and what fits, at this time. And I'm sure you've heard my latest single, which is extremely non-conventional
How
for
did you get to
for
write that
Zambian
song,
radio. Yeah, for Zambian radio. But yeah, no, that's very true. I felt discouraged by that sometimes because when you create art, you want to share it with the world, and for that reason, you're human, so you want a response for your creation. So yeah, I felt discouraged by the fact that I'm not making something that's very resonatable, if that's a word, to a lot of people. But I do have a huge demographic of people that follow me, and it's very humbling, where you're creating something that's not the trendy thing or the most viral kind of thing, but people follow you anyway, and they support you. And so for that reason, I shout out to my fans, and I love them so much.
If you were to be signed, where would you be signed?
I love the solo route, the indie route. But yeah,
I should have do there. Intelligent as always.
Yeah, but the biggest artists in the world are signed, and they're very intelligent, So yeah, I don't know. It's about the offer. So. And if it aligns with the brand also, because you're going to get on board sometimes with people that don't align with who you are and what you're trying to portray. So if the kind of deal that they're trying to give me is trying to misalign me with my purpose and my cause, and, you're trying to make me speak badly about women, which is the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do, or, do something extremely left and I'm right, so it's just like, oh, you don't
In
do
that context also, if you get to do a feature with somebody, and then you leave a space for them, obviously accommodate them on your tune, and then do you like kind of expect a certain kind of input from them aligned to your own values, or you let them be themselves, whatever that they do?
Well, the values they have to stick by, I'll let them be as creative as possible in terms of their musicality.
Let's put a Y syllable on your song.
Have you heard that? No, that's very random, but yeah.
Because I've seen J Cash in one of your songs.
Yeah, I love J Cash. Yeah, he always comes through and he knows exactly how to fit on any song. You put him on something soulful, he's gonna put the right verse on it. Something for the club, he's gonna do something fun on it. But yeah, I think YSL can pull that off because I've heard the song he's done with T-Lo.
Ah, you had to pick that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's like, oh, I've seen him do that, and he can tone it down a little.
A little is the word.
Yeah, he can turn it down a notch, But yeah, there's so many great artists, and I love to collaborate with people who are not doing necessarily the same thing that I'm doing. And those people have asked me like, oh, why don't you collaborate with singers more? Like, oh, I love to collaborate with singers, and I have, but I love it even more when I do it with rappers. People who bring in a new dynamic. Yeah, exactly.
And I just love the way you seem to comprehensively give out like package covers, even for the late Dave. Like one that was so amazing.
May he so rest in peace. Yeah,
he covered every other song that he did.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was very excited when I heard Dave the first time because he was a singer. And I'm a singer, and like I'm a vocalist, and I'm not just like I'm a singer flat E, and it ends there. I'm gonna play around with my voice, So it was exciting to see somebody like Dave start to get a lot of attention. And when you put out Nima Yeo, I think that was his first solo viral song. I was so excited to even just add it to my rendition, to my cover. And medley that I created.
I think that was the first time I even knew that you could do Zambian music.
Oh yeah,
Zambian music in that sense. Like, what?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I was super excited to be on that. But yeah, I've collaborated with Zambian artists even prior to that. So because my first collab was with, well, maybe not like the typical Zambian kind of sound, but Tim Thugger was at the time was my first. Was my first feature, and then I got on Slapdy's album, and that was exciting too. And yeah, I 2 years after, I think I also got on a song with J Cash. So yeah, I can do pretty much anything.
When you mentioned Tim, there was a time like when I was in my grade 7. Like, I passed going to grade 8, and then I wanted to start music as well. So here's what happened.
How did that end up?
Yeah, I wanted to start music as well, and then like. My money for my school for grade 8.
Oh my goodness!
I had to use it for a song, and that song featured Steve. Like it was the biggest thing. It was like, okay, I want to put this guy on my song. Did it, and then the song like, the producer moved from Komodo to here, that stash, and then it was like, your song crashed. Like,
oh my goodness! That's the worst.
I used my entire school fees. What do you need? So hopefully it talk to him, so he brings back my
yeah. No, Tim is brilliant. I love Tim too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The current single now, it's so much beautiful,
Yeah. Thank you so much.
fantastic, amazing.
Thank you so much.
I don't know what word to give it, but it's a diamond record for me.
Yeah.
And just the way you were like running through your vocals.
Thank you.
And the melody, everything is brilliant.
Thank you.
What was, again, going through, are you dating, for instance? Might start from there.
No, I'm not. I'm single. Yeah. I was previously. So people are gonna wonder, like, oh, you said you're single on TV. How come you never talked about breaking up with your ex? Like, yeah, nah, I'm single now. Yeah. So no, it wasn't. So I love to also just be inspired by people's stories. So I didn't create that song alone in terms of the writing part of it. It was freestyle throughout, but I was with my friend and we're just throwing words at each other, like, oh, let's go with that. And, you know, let's go with that. And before we realized we had a whole song, and we had songs prior to we decided we want to drop. Andy Mez, by the way, is the name of the artist. He's my personal sound engineer also, so he sound engineers all my songs. Yeah, so he's a brilliant rapper too. So we create a lot of songs together. But yeah, it's inspired by a lot of things. Like you tell me about your story and your story.
And then you put it
yeah,
together.
but the essence of that song was behind another song that I created in 2020 titled "Happy Place." Yeah, so 2021. Sorry. So "Happy Place" is a song that talks about love, right? And it sounds like I'm talking about a person, but you can relate it to even a physical place. Like, oh, you're my happy place. So when I go through this you know, the mountains and the rivers and that, you're the person that I want to run to and just rest in your arms. Yeah, that's basically where that comes from. And then we decided, oh, we're going to recreate that, but in an actual scenario where, oh, I've been in valleys, but it's not, I haven't walked through valleys, I haven't had sand in my shoes, you know, from walking, from walking in the desert, I haven't done that, but I mean, it could mean a lot of things. It could be, oh, I've walked home from a bad day at work, you know.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so it's
so
it's poetry in its own essence. But yeah, that's basically where that came from. And yeah, I love the record too. When we put it together at first, I was like, man, I don't know if people are gonna play this on radio or TV, you know. So I had an interview a lot earlier this week on KBN and they played it on TV, and I couldn't believe it, you know, because like, oh, we created this from like, you know, tiny little place, and we couldn't believe that, you know, we could even add a video to it and have it play on TV. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. So I would really want to ask, how have you dealt with politics in the musical industry?
My first musical manager, Rico, told me, do not associate yourself with politics. That's the first thing he ever told me in terms of advice about how to go about my music career.
I mean, your tune would sell out. I mean, obviously, it even combine the 2.8 and the 1.8.
Yeah. But yeah, I do not, for starters. So I love to keep like an indie type of route in my life in general. But yeah, I love to associate with people, but I prefer not to associate myself with politics. I love a peaceful place. I love me a happy place. Yeah.
Speaking of loving peaceful places, what do you do in your free time aside from music, aside from the entrepreneurship?
When I travel. It's hard to travel because when you run a business, of course, you have to be hands-on. It was not that big, you know. You kind of just have to be present.
You have to, like, work in
you have to be present. So. But that's definitely one of the things I love to do. I love to travel to serene places and very quiet places. I love to create more music. But yeah,
an album though.
I actually, I'm working on an album. But I actually produce videos too. So the video for All These Things, I produced it. Yeah, so I had a friend of mine who shot it, but I produced pretty much everything on it. So I love to create designs. I love to do that in my free time, in as much as it's my job. I love to create videos, you know. So it makes it easier to create content when you actually love to do it, you know. So, but yeah, that's definitely a few of the things that I love to do in my free time.
Entrepreneurship skills being based on digital marketing and everything. How would you relate to Zambian music in terms of digitalization and just monetizing it through digital platforms that are out there currently?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting that we have platforms like Boomplay becoming very commercially used now, because Zambians are used to having MP3s on their device, right? So when I started, back in the day, it's like, oh, we have to have downloads, we have to have people, get. We literally wanted people to what do you call it? To bootleg our music, so they can have it on their phones and share it with their friends.
Yeah, because people on the street would be like, why should I even pay for a song?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But people are getting used to the idea that, oh, these are actually products being created by artists, by entrepreneurs, because essentially that's what artists are. So it's fun that, oh, finally we have people who are excited to stream somebody's new album. Like, oh, we saw Chef 187's new album and he got a bunch of streams on it, and like, I don't know, a very short space of time. And like, oh, that's money for real, you know what I mean? And it's exciting to see that, oh, these are the times that we've gotten into now. Yeah.
How do you balance maintaining your private life from the public eye as a big feature?
Okay, that's a very good question. I mean, there's not much that I should hide from the public, and that's why I easily just say, "Oh, I'm single." I don't know, I have no problem. I feel like I'm an open book most of the times. Also, because I'm an entrepreneur, and people see me in town sometimes, they're like, "Oh, that's our person," It's like, oh, I don't have a big issue with a bunch of things. Maybe when I'm married someday, I'm like, oh, I don't want you guys associating with my wife. Don't touch my wife, you guys. Don't talk about my family like that. Maybe when the time comes, but as for now, it's not really big of an issue for me. Yeah.
Don't touch his wife, but obviously touch his music. So let's just
thank you.
Quick commercial break it right back as we further unwrap Vincent right here.
There is no better way to wake up in the morning than with the Sunrise Breakfast Show. For breaking and headline stories on both local and international fronts, in such areas as news and current affairs, politics and governance, economy and business, education and leadership, entertainment and sports. Tune in weekdays Monday to Friday from 07 hours to 9 hours Central African Time. The Sunrise Breakfast Show, exclusively to MUVI TV on the MUVI Sat Bouquet, the perfect blend.
Natubona kwebati abapungwa bengi makomboni kwena balechula icho kanshinga ba ubuntu twamona okwebati tebonse bana mayo n'abapungwe n'abashibantu abenga itumbika mu ma projects ya palanga mining na projects ayo ayakalamba icho kanshi nomba natumiletera ko programu nangulo wanshiko tule mifunda ko mweba pungwe na bana mayo ifya kupanga basopwa balekana ngaba ubuntu thick bleach ba ubuntu pine gel, ubuntu hair shampoo, ubuntu dishwash na ba ubuntu softener. Echo kanshi na tuleta ko programu ambenyu kula ibimbamo musambirire pandara mafe no 1000 mwala kwate skill kainge mwala akwatamu obukumu bantu bonse abalasambira ekintu nangula iskiwo mwala aba abakuwomba na kampani akaleetwa Ubuntu Detergent Manufacturing Limited. Ubuntu.
All these things. Oh, I'm trying to go get down on your melody, but like I can't. All these things, you know. You're the right person to do that for us. Obviously, be coming shortly with an a cappella version of your song as we get to play it in the background. But this year as well, I mean, so much that people are expecting from you. We want you to highlight what some of the projects people are expecting apart from this masterpiece that you dropped.
Okay, so I'm working on a bunch of singles, as I mentioned earlier. Working on a project, hopefully we drop this year, because I actually started working on the project last year. But yeah, it's like, I'm also very much a perfectionist, so I wanted to have things sound, you know, I wanted to have things sound a certain way, and until they get to that level, it's really hard for me to accept to push them out. But yeah, I'm working on a bunch of singles. Hopefully everything drops with a video, that's the plan. You know, because I've been out of the media for some time. It's like, I want to get back in people's faces. And get
You look shy, by the way.
Yeah, say what?
You look shy.
I do? I look shy?
I don't think so.
People say
the
that.
fake chemistry here.
No, people say that with my eyes. Yeah, like, maybe your eyes kind of sell you a certain way. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm excited to be here. You have no idea. But yeah, I'm excited to be back in people's faces and just like, be seen, you know, even just here on TV and social media. So hopefully every single drops with a video too. Yeah.
I actually feel like that would be interesting, like,
Yeah.
you know, the video side of it, and you
Yeah.
have to like stream everything.
Yeah, it's a lot more stress though. Because videos are very involving,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
then
must
obviously, like, since Valentine's passed,
Yeah.
how do you just get to choose your pickup date for the release? Is it special event, birthdays? How do you target that kind of approach?
Sorry, I didn't get what you say. How do I pick?
When I release a song, what do you look at?
It's random, honestly speaking. I drop whatever I'm vibing with, you know. So if for example, there's an Amapiano song that I'm planning to put out, and on my way coming to this interview, I couldn't stop playing it in the car. Yeah, I couldn't stop playing it throughout, and it's like, this is the next drop, this is the next drop. So I kind of just ride off that excitement, and you know, we drop that according to. Yeah, maybe that's the hard part for me with working with a label, because then you have more structure, you know. So, but yeah, it's a lot random as I'm working with kind of just like a managing partner as opposed to like an actual manager. Yeah.
And also maybe because for this one, obviously, is there a point where you feel like maybe I need to outdo myself again? Because now people have massive expectations from you after this thing.
True.
Yeah.
How do you do? Where do you start from?
I feel like it's hard for me to find somebody who's harsher on me than I am on myself. You know, and I'm critiquing myself from every single angle. You know, and now one of the things that I've been challenging myself to do also is just speak more to the people. You know, because that's one thing that I always critique myself on. You know, I was like, am I going to say the right words? You know, so all these things, they come into play even when it comes to like selecting what song I'm gonna drop next, because I'm all over my, you know, I'm so hard on myself when it comes to what I'm gonna drop next. Yeah.
Okay, so if you could play at one venue, what would it be?
Another good question. You have very good questions, my friend. I haven't thought of that, if I'm being honest. But I love it when I'm sitting in an audience that understands the music that I'm putting out. You know, so it could be 20 people, it could be 200 people, it could be 2,000 people. For as long as I'm really connecting with my audience, that excites me. But yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Can we get to the acapella part?
She's trying to hear the music.
You want him to mesmerize you? The stage is all yours.
On the fun side of life.
Yeah, I've been on top of mountains, counting sunsets and storms in nature's arms, but it's nothing like yours. Walked across the valleys, ask me if I am sure, but out of all these things, I'm thinking of you. Yeah. That's it.
So excited.
She wanted you to point at her.
Oh man, I love the cameras. I can't help but point at the cameras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's all these things.
All these
Yeah.
things. It's a full package, regardless of what.
It doesn't matter where I am.
happens.
I'm thinking of you. Yeah.
Wow. Do you even have such men exist?
Oh my goodness.
We thought it's for the movies.
Oh my goodness.
Like, where are you from? Did you just
Oh,
come
my-
from Mars or something?
No, I mean, like you
Clearly.
guys obviously have people that you can't wait to go back to, you know, and that's the way we wrote the song. It's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partner, you know. In all these things, I'm thinking of you, my child at home, you know. So I deliberately did not say the word girl in the song.
Ah,
Yeah.
this makes sense now.
Yeah, I deliberately didn't
This
say
makes
that in the
more
song.
sense.
Yeah,
Generalization.
because like I mentioned
what
with the
confused
happy
me
place.
is the Valentine thing, but have it pre-Valentine.
Oh, yeah.
The actual day was like,
Yeah.
that's the target, but then
You asked me what word I want to keep. If I'm going to speak one word, it's the word of love. Yeah.
So that explains the whole thing.
Yes,
Actually.
and you know what Valentine's preaches is love. So at the end of the day, I was hoping that I take my mom out for a date on Valentine's, you know, because I don't have no girlfriend.
wow,
Yeah.
I wish I was like at that.
You
sort of
are.
age.
You have to receive it.
Amen. I'm tapping into the conclusively. Please tell fans where they can find you and get in touch with you as well.
So everywhere Vincent Claudius. On Instagram is at Vincent Claudius official. On TikTok it's Vincent_Claudius. Facebook just the keywords is Vincent Claudius. Same thing as YouTube. But yeah, pretty much everywhere it's Vincent Claudius. Those are keywords. Yeah.
That's just about it. We're so grateful to have you.
Thank you
today,
so
and
much for having me. I'm excited. Thank
yeah,
you.
we look forward.
And nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm still
What?
trying to
You're gonna do
digest
this
everything.
behind my back?
Behind my back.
No, I mean I've met you. We had a good time at the AYGC. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So that Vincent joining us today on set, premiering his music. All these things just for you, right? Just for you. All this full package. It's about love. It's about having to relate with people that are in our circle and just outside our circle, because we never know how life is out there. So just make sure that we preach love to everybody. It's been an exciting show. Till next time, we love you. God bless you. See you in 7 days.
There is no better way to wake up in the morning than with the Sunrise Breakfast Show. For breaking and headline stories on both local and international fronts, in such areas as news and current affairs, politics and governance, economy and business.